Hey guys, welcome back to Kitchen Court Cases, where we watch court in my kitchen. And today we have a very interesting case, which is, I actually don't know what state this is in, but I know the judge, and I think you guys will enjoy this.
Good morning, Mr. Kuipers, and we'll give the defendant till 10:30. Well, we'll probably give them a couple extra minutes to see if they show up, okay?
That's fine, Your Honor. I actually have some outstanding other landlord-tenant Zoom hearings that started at 9 that are still going on. So,
Okay, well, we won't call it until we get you back here. So if you have other matters to take care of, feel free to do that.
thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right. Is Ms. Ramirez present? Okay, and Mr. Travis, you are here on behalf of Ms. Ramirez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so that is file 1911 of 2022, People versus Isela Ramirez. Good morning, ma'am. Mr. Travis is here on the defendant's behalf, and Mr. Chamberlain for the prosecutor's office. This is the date set for a hearing on an alleged probation violation, or a number of alleged probation violations. So, Mr. Travis, have you gone over the report with your client, and what does she want to do?
Your Honor, she would acknowledge the violations.
Okay, so before I can take a plea to those violations, I need to make sure you're aware of your rights that you're giving up if you plead guilty to those. First of all, any probation violation could mean that your probation would be revoked, and you could be sentenced to up to the maximum on this charge, which is 93 days. Okay, and I should warn you that that is the recommendation: loss of a deferral, revocation of the probation, and 93 days in jail. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. I also want to make sure you understand you do have a right to a hearing to contest all of these allegations, and Mr. Travis would represent you in that. Do you understand that? And you are waiving your right to a hearing, correct?
Yes.
No one has used any force or threats or made any promises to you to get you to waive your right to a hearing this morning, have they? So it's your own free will to plead guilty to the violations.
Yes.
So, is it true you were placed on probation for assault and battery back in December? And as a condition of that, you were to successfully complete the AWARE program and also report to your probation officer on a monthly basis.
Yes.
And you were actually discharged from the AWARE program because you, well, I don't know what the reason was, but they discharged you from that early. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. And you failed to report to your probation officer in March, April, and May. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. Then to those violations, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I'll accept your plea, find it is voluntary, accurate, and understanding. So, Mr. Travis, what do I need to know about this case? Why would, particularly interested to know why Ms. Ramirez was unsuccessfully discharged from the AWARE group?
In speaking with Mr. Ramirez, her understanding of it was that she had moved up to Charlevoix with a family member. That house did not have good internet, and then her phone broke, so she was for a period without internet and was unable to attend 2 sessions. It looks like, according to Mr. Palmer's reports, there was also some issues with the class, with someone being present sometimes on the call, but I think that what put it to the end was that she missed 2 classes in a row due to lack of internet access and ability to access the class. Her and I have she should have done relative to that. I think largely she's a young person. I believe this is her first involvement with the system. I think a lot of this whole situation, at least in speaking with her, is a lack of understanding that she should and can reach out and try and fix these things. Like I asked her, why didn't you try and get back in the class? And she basically was like, well, I didn't think I could do that. They kicked me out. Why didn't you reach out, with these new misses for the probation? She's indicating to me, well, I was, arraigned for violating probation. I thought I had to wait till that was dealt with before I went forward. So obviously she did these things, but I think some of it, at least partially, is being naive to, one, the criminal justice system, and one, being naive to learning about, hey, as an adult, you need to be a little more proactive particularly when your situation is on the line. I think that's a large part of the problems here. One, she messed up. She was somewhere where she didn't have internet. She didn't get herself somewhere where she did. She, I think maybe her parents might have assumed, well, she's got a phone, her phone was broken. And just saying, oh, well, that's just, that's the way it is. And not being proactive, because unfortunately, in talking with her, and I don't know what Ms. Helmer would have done, but had she been more proactive, this might not have gotten this bad. But then she was arraigned, and I think speaking with her and her mother, she just assumed, well, I'm in trouble. I'm done on probation. I got to wait to see what the judge tells me to do, which has then compounded this. And I think Ms. Helmer is, saying, hey, she's not even trying at all. She's not reaching out to me. She's not doing anything. I'm done with her, which is understandable when someone doesn't appear to want to do probation. But I do think in general, because before this recommendation, I think her last recommendation, and I didn't see it, but in speaking with her, was to do 5 days in jail and continue probation. And we talked about that. And, she seemed to understand the reality of that. And her and I didn't speak till just a couple days ago. And I kind of asked all these questions.
So this is her lawyer, I guess, and he is saying that the recommendation was for 5 days in jail because she's been unsuccessfully discharged from probation. And it's going to get very interesting very quickly.
Okay, I guess that the previous recommendation was the same. I'm sorry. She misunderstood that recommendation. But we had talked about, did you try and get back in the class? Are you talking to Mrs. Helmer about what you can do? And she hadn't done any of those things. And honestly, I think really didn't even think about doing those things. So we have talked about that. Unfortunately, we didn't talk about that till a couple days ago. I think even just yesterday. But that was her plan today, to come in and plead guilty, know that she may get some punishment for this, but to try and continue doing what she needed to do on probation. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Travis. I would like to hear from you, Ms. Ramirez. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I don't know that I'm sorry. I don't know.
All right, Mr. Chamberlain, anything for the people?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Ms. Ramirez was given a great opportunity at the beginning of this based on this being a first-time offense. The review of the police report paints a very different picture than what she said occurred. She claims she just pushed one person one time, but that's not what the police report shows. Her and two friends went to pick up another person's, their friend, and they essentially messed up, I believe it was a graduation party. There was multiple assaults on various people. When the dad tried to step in, she assaulted him, according to the police report, and even had to remove his daughter from their car. Additionally, she was at a .05 PBT when they eventually caught up to her. She has done essentially nothing on probation. It's very, she knew what she was, what the maximum possible penalty was. Last month, it was the same recommendations, and you flat out told her, it really depends what you do in this next month for what's going to happen if you're sentenced. And she still did nothing. The fact that she didn't have a phone or internet, even if those things are true, so what? She still could have contacted her probation officer. She knew she needed to contact her probation officer. She was arraigned and still didn't contact her probation officer that day. Your Honor, I believe that probation should be revoked unsuccessfully. She should lose her deferral. Fines and costs should be preserved, and I leave it to you as to what sanctions to impose for jail time that you feel are appropriate.
All right, thank you. Ms. Helmrich is here from the probation office. And Ms. Helmrich, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. The first thing I want to point out is that I have not heard from her since February. I'm looking at an email right now from Alice. One of the very first reports I received from the AWARE group was that Ms. Ramirez had a man with her during the group. She was laughing and smiling about it when other members were saying that the rules were being violated and they felt invaded, and that she was breaking the privacy rule. So when Alice even told her that this was not acceptable, she continued smiling and laughing. Even after that, Alice let her stay in the group for a while, and it wasn't, her reports were never good. And then she just quit showing up. I've sent her multiple warnings to report. Even my last email to her on 4/21, after this was already filed, I warned her again that for a second month she failed to report. I was giving her a choice to send it to me. Never heard from her. She quit responding to emails. She never called me. I have no voicemails from her. She hasn't been serious about this from the beginning. Mr. Chamberlain did point some of it out, but he is correct that when she was supposed to have her hearing a month ago, you warned her at that time that what she did in the next month was going to affect your decision. She still never reached out to me. She still never reached out to Second Chance Counseling. She did nothing even after that warning. So I'm not buying it that she didn't know that she could keep working on probation. She was given a major warning and a whole month to figure that out, and she did nothing. She's not serious about this. And I'm truly hoping that jail is going to be the answer that she needs, because probation isn't it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Helmrich. So this is sentencing on the defendant's probation violation for being unsuccessfully discharged from what was the most important part of this probation, and that was completing the AWARE group, although the basic awareness group was right up there too. The defendant also has failed to report, and according to your attorney, there was a lot of confusion and problems with communication. I don't buy that for a minute. When you stood here in court back on May 5th, I told you that this was going to get real serious if you didn't change your behavior. And, even that didn't make a difference. So if you had any doubts about what was necessary to complete this probation and walk away without any jail time at all, and, I don't buy it for a minute. I'm not going to enable you any longer to simply blow things off and not care. And the most upsetting thing, and it is upsetting to hear that you're laughing and goofing off and bringing someone from outside to this meeting where people are discussing their most private thoughts for the AWARE program. I send people to that program to get help. And when you do something like that, now you're not just affecting your own rehabilitation, you're affecting everyone else that's involved there. So frankly, I thought the recommendation for 93 days in jail was harsh, given that this is a first criminal offense. But when I see that you are sabotaging the very programs we have in place to help people, this anger management class, it's meant to give you tools so that you don't commit the same sort of offenses that got you here in the first place. So while your friends are out playing on the beach this summer, you're going to be sitting in a jail cell. And you have done all of this yourself. It started out with assaulting 4 people at a party when you were intoxicated. And something needs to be done about that clearly. But I can't think of a worse behavior on probation than this, and especially when I see every opportunity was given to you to walk away again without any jail time in this case, without any conviction. So a conviction for assault and battery will enter, the deferred is lost, or delay, whatever it was. The defendant is sentenced to 93 days in jail. I'm revoking the probation, and that is a harsh sentence, but I think I've explained why. So if there's nothing else, we're all set for this morning. Mr. Hubble, do you know what's going on with the examination for Kenny?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Travis, you're here for that as well, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, we're going to resolve the case in district court. Mr. Travis and I have talked about a disposition, and if we can get Ms. Kenny out.
Wow. The judge laid down the hammer on that case. He was not playing around. I don't think she was expecting that in the least. Oh my goodness. What do you think? Do you think she deserves the 93 days and lost the deferment? He said, "You're not going to the beach this summer. You're going to jail." That's crazy. All right, guys, thanks so much for checking out this video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. I will talk to you soon. Bye.